Hello, Tom.
Uh, Hello.
Yeah. What happened to you last time?
I totally forgot that I got lessons that night.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was
Yeah. You shouldn't
focusing
forget.
on, you know what? I was focusing on IELTS and I forgot about my speaking. I was just doing some
Practice.
practice, like listening and reading on the website called UPass, and I
Uh-huh.
completely forgot about it because
Oh.
that day I got has my school holds the end of the year ceremony. So
Oh. Mm-hmm.
the supposedly the classes which I had in the afternoon, which is also uh about IELTS, has got canceled. So
Ah.
I got cancer, so I that got cancer, so I probably just get back home and do some tests
Yeah,
on.
some practice. Okay. I totally get it. Yeah, I was just wondering because like each time when I send a message, usually you are online. So I was just wondering because that night when I sent a message, you were not online and you haven't even read any of the messages that I sent. So I thought like, yeah, maybe it was similar to the time when you were also out that you how do I say, like you you got sick at that time, if I remembered it right. So I thought it was a similar thing as well. But
But yeah,
anyway, good thing you're back.
yeah, I changed my learning place from that.
Yeah, you're not in your living room anymore.
Yes, this is my room, and I because the temperature outside is like still about over 30 degrees Celsius. It's
Yeah, so I heard it was
and it's
so hot.
also being like humid, so it's
Mm-mm.
even hotter. But
Oh,
so I decided I'm just gonna move into my room,
your room.
but there is a risk because the internet connection in my room is not the best. So
Uh-huh.
I'm taking.
It's okay. Like if ever there might be like some issues with the connection, we can always you can always turn your camera off. Like I think it will speed up the thing for as long as of course like you still being responsible to respond because our lesson is speaking. So I'm expecting you to speak as much as you could. But anyway, yeah, going back. So wait, let me try to send a message first with Tyler. He isn't here yet. Wait, because I was actually charging my phone and if you use your computer to open like Facebook, no, Messenger on Facebook, it usually takes a lot of time to load. So I don't know what's the problem of this one. But last time when you were out, Tom, we actually had, or I actually explained some writing activities with um, Tyler last Monday. Like we talked a little about writing because he said like he actually had some, how do I say, like some trouble with writing. So that's why like we also talk very briefly about writing too last time. So how about you, Tom? How's your writing going? Because I know like for the listening and reading, there's nothing that you can do there, Tom. I mean like after you do the reading test or listening test, there's an answer key for that. But when it comes to writing, it's actually different because it depends on interpretation based on the Venn descriptor, of course. So, how do you deal or how do you practice your writing tasks?
To be honest with you, I just look for some topic online, some
Uh huh.
what do you call it? Uh, let's just say topic online, and I just start writing task one or task two essays about it. Then I will give it to my teachers, and she could give me some tips and so that I could improve my skill. Like because two of my sister actually, my oldest sister has a overall of 7.0
Oh, that's
on me.
good.
And
Mm-hmm.
sister is got an overall of 7.5, so I could rely on them to mark my writing.
Okay, well, that's great. At least, like, you got somebody to talk to if ever there are things that are unclear to you, for example, and maybe you may want to learn more, or if you got like some questions about it, because I know that not a lot of people have actually like access to, like, how do we say, like, the IELTS writing marks, because most of the time like people just simply use like the, let's say, of course, like I do believe like everybody uses like online materials for writing, but what I'm more concerned about is actually about how do you guys get the, let's say, like, feedback, or about how do you guys get your work marked or scored somehow, because that is like very important in writing. I mean, like, it's really important that you know which areas in writing you are very weak at, and at the same time, how can you find ways to resolve that weak point? Yes.
I mean, when it comes to Vietnamese people and they are trying to get good at IELTS, one of
Mm-mm.
the wall they're gonna run into is their their writing point, pretty much. Writing and speaking is the most two of the most annoying thing when it comes to IELTS here in Vietnam.
Exactly.
And
Mm-hmm.
I still having trouble with writing. I was having big trouble. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to my mark to improve to at least a 7 before I got into a real test, but that is probably not gonna happen now.
Oh, but wait. So, did you already have like an experience taking the IELTS test before, Tom?
I have taken some actual mock tests.
Only mock
Not
test, not the official one.
I have gone to some places to do some mock tests of full full of our full skills, but it's still average out about 7 pretty much for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Tom, there's really a very big difference when it comes to how do I say, like, when it comes to taking the actual test rather than the mock test, because like, of course, the mock test, it's still like, corrections are still based on the rubric or the IELTS, how do we call it, like the band descriptor. They're still going to base your scores there. Same thing goes with speaking, actually. But what's the different thing here is that um when you take the IELTS exam, then you get to have the exact feeling during the, yeah, of course, like the official test. Like mock test is maybe the rules are okay, or the rules are not really that tight, unlike the actual exam. But during the actual exam, you really have to follow the protocol that they have to follow, something like that. So you need to follow some strict rules for something. So that's why I think it's best. Like, although I understand your mom, why your mom wanted you to get a score of 7 first before you actually take the official test, Tom. But because like the official test costs a lot. So
Yeah.
and like it's not like you can just pay it like easily. So you may have to save up money before you get another test. But the thing is, again, it's better to gain exposure as well for the area for the actual exam rather than just simply take although mock test works, but it's still better if you could actually take the actual one. Okay, so maybe Tyler will hop in shortly later. I think he is
Think about
not online.
there is a small storm outside of my window right now. There's lightning. That is probably the
Oh,
reason why he's having trouble getting in, maybe.
maybe that could probably be the reason. Yeah, maybe about the connection issues as well. But anyway, yeah, I think we can just start then with our lesson for tonight. So I'll wait. Um, let me just use the similar speaking material I used with Tom last Monday so that we guys can start learning together with the same material once he comes in. So wait, let me just copy it first. Okay, so here, let's get started. So for part one here, Tom, we will talk about, or we'll start talking about borrowing and lending things. So let's start. Do you mind if others borrow money from you?
Uh, well, it depends what kind of people they are. If they are my friends, my family, I would probably lend them money without any intention of taking it back. But if it's worth to a person I just met, there's not no connection yet, I would probably only lend them a reasonable amount of money, a small amount of money. If it is complete stranger, that is the no. I would definitely not do that. But I am pretty generous person, so I do like to care for others. So sometimes I do give out some a little over the standard of what of normally I would give for like stranger or something. Uh, it's not often, but it's not that rare either.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. So next one is how do you feel when people don't return things they borrowed from you?
Well, I mean, I would definitely feel frustrated, but for the most part, I have learned to cope with getting my stuff stolen and seeing my stuff missing. So it's for the most part, I would not feel much from just with frustrating because I know I could get anger, but that doesn't mean that I could get my stolen goods back. But if if it were in like a lesson between lessons that I miss, I suddenly missing a pen or like a razor, I'm gonna confront my friend. I know it is him, and I would definitely take it back by force of or by any means.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. So next question here, Tom, is do you like to lend things to others?
Uh, Wait, isn't that the first question?
No, 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 no. The second question is um, do you mind if others borrow money from you?
Oh,
So the first one was about money. The third one is this one is just item or things.
uh, well, I mean, I'm not content. I'm not angry with how is it? I'm if it were like daily objects like a pen or maybe just a razor, I
Mm-hmm.
would probably lend that to them. But if it were money, is another story because
Mm-hmm.
it if I were to let out a large amount of money, I have a very big risk of losing it entirely. But if it's just a pen, and I lose it. It's not much. It costs like about 2,000 dong a pen, so it wouldn't be a big loss. Though it would hurt mentally, I think it is okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Next one is have you ever borrowed money from others?
Oh yes, I have definitely borrowed some money from my friends, mostly for paying for food because I forget to bring any. So what I would do afterward was that I would go home or maybe uh open my banking app to pay them back because I don't often carry cash on my body. So
Mm-hmm.
I I would try to pay them back. And if I were to borrow some money, I would definitely not borrow like $1 million. I would only borrow like 20, 30,000 dong at most.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and let's have one final question is have you borrowed books from others?
Uh, I have borrowed some books from others, but for the most part, I'm the one who's lending them. I got a pretty big collection of kind of books about famous people on my shelf, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my mother friends, children, like to read them. So I just and my mother also insists me on lending them to the kids. So I do exactly what she said. But I yes, I definitely borrow some, but I for the most part I'm the one who do the lending.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
That's
yes. Uh-huh. Okay.
that.
So thank you. So yeah, let's talk about your answers here, Tom. Okay, we'll start with the general feedback first. Oh, okay. I usually start with the good ones. So, okay, let's start with the good ones, Tom. So, for the good points here, Tom, I must say, like, your vocabulary is suitable and you actually have
Oh,
well executed in using them for the expressions, Tom. Okay, however, there are some parts where I just want to highlight and I want you to work out in organizing your ideas, Tom. Okay, but wait, let me just write down the notes first. Okay, here. So, okay, again,
Most part. Uh,
hmm this one's hard.
I was no, because I didn't remember you say being part one. So in the middle, I was thinking about asking if this was part one, so I could get my answers shorter.
Uh-huh.
I just
Okay. Well, that made sense because, yeah, I actually noticed like some of your answers, like you tried to stretch them long. But here's the thing, Tom. Okay, but I think this one also only happens in a class because, of course, when you actually take the official test, then definitely like you would know which parts are you already in the test. Okay, but here's the thing, like what makes part 1 and part 3 different? Okay, so we'll talk about that one. So always remember, Tom, that in part 1, we're always going to ask about personal opinion on things. Okay, so this is like for part 1. But when we talk about part 3, of course, this one is a more general. Yeah, there's like general questions. Okay, for discussion. But as you may have noticed earlier, Tom, are yeah, even in the questions that I have already pasted on the screen, all of the questions were definitely about let's say like you. So, what do you think about, or do you mind if others borrow money from you? How do you feel? Do you like to lend? Have you ever borrowed? And so on. So it's all about you. So in that case, yeah, ultimately that leads to part 1. But okay, let's get back to our quick discussion then this time, Tom. So far, let's say like the good points here, as I have mentioned, is number 1 about the vocabulary. So let's just note that one down. So for the good points is about the use of vocab. Okay, so use of vocabulary, that's good. And then also like the let's say like content of ideas. So based on the content of your ideas, Tom, I can say that you fully understood each question. Okay, which means that we don't have the problem of going off topic for this sense. Okay, however, in order for us to develop our ideas or to develop our response, so we'll also discuss about how to improve on these areas, Tom. So number 1 on my list is about organization of ideas. So, what do I mean by organization of ideas, Tom? It means that you try to organize your thoughts well. Okay, like let's say, for example, here you mention about like let's talk about question number 1. Do you mind if others borrow money from you? So here at the beginning, you did a great job in trying to categorize people. So you mentioned about like if these are like your family and friends, then you wouldn't mind lending them money. And then at the same time, there might be a possibility of you not taking the money back, and that's a really good thing. Okay, and then and the next part you mentioned about like people who are not close to you. So you may still want to help them, but at a lower cost than than the ones that are close to you. So that is like a good approach there, Tom. However, towards the end of your answer, you mentioned about giving to strangers. So I was thinking like maybe you're trying to stretch your ideas out, and That's why when I thought about like maybe you thought this one's part three and not part one. Okay. So I think that's when yeah, that's when the line needs to be yeah, it needs to be clear in there. Okay, so again, talking about organization. So that organization top, it was good. Talking about comparison, which is great. Okay. Another thing, another example is um what else? Okay, so here, question number three. Do you like to lend things to others? So you mentioned about like objects that you use daily. So for example, you mentioned about like pen, so something like that. So you can easily lend it to them. But that was the only thing that you used there, Tom. Maybe we can lead that one to the second one, which is let's say like there should be a clear comparison of ideas. Okay, because I think like there is how do I say like there is a limit as to which one can you let you can let them other people borrow and which one you cannot let them borrow. So for example, in my case, like okay, I can lend some office supplies or school supplies like pen, paper, notebooks, etc. I can easily let other people borrow them from me. But when it comes to electronic items, like if they're gonna ask me to borrow my iPad, or if they're gonna ask me to borrow my laptop, or if they're gonna ask me to borrow something that is essential or expensive, then I am more reluctant to let them borrow that one. Okay. So in this case, Tom, or in question number three, I think that's what you lack in there. So you need to draw a distinction between what are the things that you can lend to others and what are the things that you don't lend to other people. Okay. And then anything. I think like those are the things here, Tom, basically for part one. So again, we'll just have to continue working on organization of ideas. Plus, at the same time, we are also going to work on comparing clearly. Like again, the comparison in question number one, Tom, I love that one because you were able to show distinction between the people close to you versus those people that are, let's say, like you knew casually. So that's a pretty easy and yeah, clear things to describe. Okay. So that's for the first part. Anyway, questions here, Tom. Any question?
No.
No. Okay. So if you got no question, Tom, then let's proceed this time then to our part two. So for our part two, let me just send that cue card in the chat. Okay. So here's our topic, Tom. Have you seen it? Okay. So, okay, here, Tom, your topic is
Yes.
about a person that you know who enjoys working. Okay, but it's not just a working person, Tom, but it should be a person who's working for a family business. Okay. So anyway, yeah, let's start with this one. I'll give you a minute, Tom, to prepare, and your 1 minute starts now. Okay, time is up, Tom. Hello, Tom. Hello. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tom.
I think my internet is
Yeah, I think
yeah.
this is where your internet acts up, Tom. So maybe, Tom, you can
Yeah.
just turn off your camera. Oh,
Ah,
okay, yeah. So maybe you can just turn your camera off, Tom. Okay. No worries. For as long as yeah, you'll just respond when I ask you to. So anyway, are you done with your preparation? Or 1 minute
uh,
is actually over.
yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay, okay. So if you're good, then let's get started then. So you got here 1 to 2 minutes, Tom, to talk about your answer, and your timer starts now.
Talking about a person who is keeping the family tradition afloat. I'm gonna tell you about my neighbor. Her name is Lan, and here in Vietnam, here in Trang Sơn, we are a village with a tradition of woodworking. So it's natural that she got into woodworking for most of her life. Currently, she is uh uh let's say she has a business of selling bamboo fans and bamboo balancing dragonfly. Uh, and her shop is located near the Koh Lok Mountain. The shop features a lot of small what I forgot. Oh no, no. A small souvenir that is made entirely out of bamboo or wood. Like I said, her bestseller is the dragonfly and the fans. But she also features some traditional uh musical instrument like biba, uh 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 I'm not sure what mode has motivated her into keeping the business afloat, but maybe is that she feel the responsibility to bear the traditional and keep it alive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, time is up, Tom. Okay, anyway, so yeah, let's have our quick feedback. So this time, Tom, let's turn to, or let me share my screen for the topic or the cue card. Okay, so can you see my screen now, Tom?
Yes. Let me see.
Okay, okay. So yeah, okay, let's talk about this one, Tom. So first is let's talk about the topic. So describe a person who enjoys working for a family business. So okay, we're talking about someone who enjoys working for a family business. Okay, that's the main point here. So okay, you mentioned here, Tom, about yeah, you answered about the first one. So, who's this person? What was what the business was, and then what was her job? Also like this one about why he or she enjoys working there. So maybe what I would just suggest here, Tom, to improve is that because generally you were able to answer all the questions. So, for the things to improve this time, so wait, let me write it down. So, for things to improve, so I would suggest here, Tom, like number one is um try to come up with a central point. So what do I mean by try to come up with a central point, Tom? That actually means that, for example, like earlier, I believe you mentioned about like the things that she sells, two or three times about about the one, Tom. So it seems like some information or some information were described repeatedly. Okay, so this is like something that we should avoid, Tom, because I do understand that we need to keep up with the 2 minute time for part two. Although, as I have mentioned, it's okay if you cannot finish like the whole 2 minutes for this, but um, you just have to have a minimum of 1 minute. But again, the thing here is that um, also it's not good if you're just going to keep describing something again and again. So that's one thing. Another thing here, Tom, is use connectors. So we have discussed this one many times before. So the use of connectors or cohesive devices are really important to develop the content of your answers. Okay, and then another thing here, Tom, is you can also add extra details to your answers. Okay, so extra details to your answers. Like for example, Tom, you can also mention about let's say for example, whether this kind of business is popular to your country because again, as I have mentioned earlier, there were some information that you have repeatedly mentioned. So in that case, maybe you can tell me a little about um extra details about that. So is selling bamboo fans or the other products that she is selling, like is it a common business in your country? Or for example, like is this kind of business like easy to set up, something like that? Because since our topic is about a family business, then maybe you can also include about how did this person's family started the business. So is she the one who started the business and so on? So again, those are the things that you can also include to develop, Tom, because again, your main points here were clear actually. Like I can easily get and to take notes or took note of your main ideas. But the thing is, I want you to develop also, Tom. Like there is like a one line that you're following. Okay, so you're not supposed to run in circles because the good point about you is that your vocabulary is already good. And as for the grammar is concerned, your grammar is also like arranged well, although there are still some grammar slips, but these can be overlooked during the test. Okay, but the thing is, or the thing that cannot be overlooked is when your ideas are not organized well, Tom. So this is something that you need to work on too. Are we clear?
Yes.
Mm-mm. So anyway, any questions about this one, Tom?
Uh, no, I
You
don't
don't
have.
have questions. Okay, so if you got no questions, then so that's for our part two. Um, yeah, part two discussion for tonight. And then lastly, let me just see the part three of this one. Okay, so let's talk about the part three questions this time, Tom. Okay, so for our part three questions we got here, would you like to start a family business?
Uh, uh, well, to be honest with you, I am thrilled to think of the idea and the stuff that I could do. But there's one major problem for this is that my family doesn't really have any traditional jobs or occupation. Uh, and let me elaborate on this point. My father is a soldier. My mom is a teacher. Both of my grandparents is all, are also former teachers. But
Mm-hmm.
my great grandparents are uh, uh, a person who people call 业主, who is which mean that they got a lot of lands and they would uh let land this land to like farmers so they could farm and they would took some profit from that, some wheat, for example, some rice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so to be honest, I don't. My family doesn't really have any traditional occupation that I could follow. But if it were like to be an occupation in particular, it would be teaching. But still, I'm not very fond of teaching because I feel like I'm not a good teacher. I'm not very good at explaining things clearly and especially with children. I'm not very good, sure.
Okay, yes, thank you, Tom. So next one, Tom. Would you like to work for a family business?
Uh, to answer your question is both yes and no. Yes, because if it were like a family, a like a long-lasting family businesses, it would have like a strong stand in the economics already. So I would not worry about the payments as much, and probably don't worry about the possibility that I would lose the job due to like products inflation and the business being collapsed. And no, because I aim to get a higher paying job than most traditional family could pay.
Mm-hmm.
Traditional businesses in Vietnam is contained mostly of uh, woodworking and furniture making. So though they have good payment and they're steady, somewhat steady if they are long lasting, But I feel like the chances for me to really improve my life in doing these jobs is not very high. So I want to aim for better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, thank you. So next one here, Tom, is why do some people choose to start their own company?
Uh, this is a rather hard question to answer because it is pretty controversial. Uh, Many people say it is like they see a vision or something. Others say that they because they don't see the possibility that they would advance in other job that is already in the market. Uh, I personally think that it's just pure coincidence that people would like to start like a whole company, because if you want to start a whole company, the first you need is funds and a lot of funds.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people who want to start a company stop at that point because they cannot accumulate enough money to actually open a business, let alone building on a whole empire. So that is
Mm-hmm.
why I think this is just possible chances that they took and it somehow worked out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, thank you. Next one, Tom. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of family businesses?
Um, First, let's go with the advantages of family businesses. Talking about a family businesses, meaning that we're talking about a business that has been in the economic market
Mm-hmm.
for a while now, for at least about 10 years back, and which means that they are very stable. They would probably not be collapsing anytime soon in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, the uh, disadvantages is also very notable. The first thing is that even though they are stable, they doesn't really produce a lot of profit nowadays, as machinery is rapidly replacing humans in manufacturing jobs, and jobs that need mass production, mass manufacturer, and the woodworking is one of those. So carpenter is losing their job at an immense speed. And another
Mm-hmm.
point is that these job also doesn't really generate that much profit. So the salary of the employees would be lower than the jobs in the city, like uh, if you were to work in like a marketing firm or just like an office desk employees.
Uh-huh. Okay, yes, thank you. And next one here, Tom. What family businesses do you know in your local area?
Uh, there's only really a handful of businesses that is traditional that I know of in my local area. The first is Mạnh Hoành. they are actually just about 10 steps away from my house. And what
Mm-hmm.
they do is that they uh, produce a steady source of working tools and like screws and screws and stuff, bolts that would use in constructing or maybe making some furniture. Another businesses is that there is a family about two houses back from my house in the alley. They
Uh-huh.
have a long-standing business of traditional musical instrument crafting. And even though they don't really have much customer, they are still trying to revive the concern, and they are still standing somehow. That is the two most notable traditional businesses in my local area.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. And last question here, Tom, for this topic. What makes a successful family business?
Uh, to answer your question, I would have to say that it has to be about the funds that you get, maybe the products that you sell, if it's compatible with the market at present time, it would easily thrive. If it were compatible, but if it not, it could still grow up, but it wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
as easy. The second thing is that, of course, the people in the family need to be unisons in order to create such businesses. Because if there was any crack in the relationship, that could lead to a lot of very big problem, not only among the family, but also legal problem if they were to be messing each other up. I think that is it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, thank you, Tom. Okay, so this time, yeah, let's talk about the feedback then. Okay, so let me just share the vocabulary first. Oh no, not the questions, list of questions first. Okay, can you see the list of questions on the screen, Tom?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, yes. So, okay, let's start talking about this topic here then, Tom. So, for this topic or for this yeah, topic here, so it's all about family business, Tom. And let's just talk about in general, Tom, about the main points that you have highlighted in class. Okay, so in this case, Tom, I just want to talk about the information about how you like organize or develop on things, Tom. Okay, because here let's start with or let's go straight with the things to improve, Tom. So, for example, like, would you like to start a family business? So we'll talk about one by one for as much as possible to the points that I want to highlight, Tom. So for question number one
Oh,
here,
it's
Tom,
lagging again.
is it lagging? Okay, wait, let me try to turn off my
That's not
camera.
good.
Hello? Hello, Tom. Hello. Hello, Tom. Oh.